So let's talk about the C100. The first thing that I really like about it is you get about like 3.5 hours of battery life from the stock battery, which I think is really, really cool. So it really doesn't use that much battery. And I went ahead and bought some aftermarket batteries, Castars. The only problem with those is it doesn't show you how much battery life you have left. It does show you the little battery indicator, but it doesn't give you a time to let you know how much battery life you have left. But I do believe it is more than the 3.5 hours from the stock battery. I think it gives me about 5, maybe more. I haven't really counted it yet, but it's doing pretty well. So I'm very happy with the battery life. The second thing that I really, really love about this camera, and any camera that has it, is a fully articulating screen. Right now, as I'm recording this video, I'm using the C100 Mark II, and I can see myself in the screen, which is great for framing my shot. Also, when I'm shooting a wedding, like I said, the camera sometimes is above my head, sometimes it's down low, sometimes I'm standing off to the side because it's on a tripod. Being able to manipulate the screen to whatever configuration I want so I can see what I'm doing is so helpful. Also, as an added bonus, this camera comes with a waveform monitor. I love waveform monitors. Most of the cameras that I've owned in the past have not had that function, and I'm always missing it because I've used it before and then nothing that I have has it. And this finally has it again, and it's just such a great way to get your exposure. It makes it really hard to miss your exposure when you're using a waveform monitor, so that's a big plus. And then of course you have a handle, and like I've mentioned in other videos where I've talked about other cameras, you know, something as small as a handle, it seems like it's not a big deal. But having a handle just to grab your camera, walk with it, set it on a tripod, hold it in a, you know, maybe a lower angle type of way, it's really nice having a handle. And then of course this handle also has your XLR connections, so you can go ahead and hook up your XLR mics. Right now I have an XLR, 2 XLR mics hooked up. There's a shotgun and there's also a wireless microphone that's hooked up in there right now. And then being able to use the dials to quickly dial in your audio gain is also very helpful. You know, sometimes when I'm shooting, things get loud, you could just turn it down with your finger. You don't have to go through a menu, it's just right there. Just makes things really convenient, really easy to do. Also, the body has a built-in mic on it, and this is one of the reasons why I went with the Mark II over the C100 Mark I, is because the C100 Mark I does not have any built-in microphones on the body. So once you disconnect the handle, you're not getting any sound. So at least with this camera you do, which is a big deal. It did screw me up once using the C100 Mark I without the handle. Also, the Mark II just off the bat comes with the dual pixel autofocus already installed. The C100 Mark I does not, but you can get it installed in there. And most used ones you will find on the internet or on eBay or wherever, they're gonna have that installed because most people that own that camera went ahead and did the upgrade for $500. So, but anyway, it just comes with the Mark II. And just speaking about the autofocus, if you watch my channel, you know that I've always used the JVC LS300, which this camera may replace. I still have it, but this may replace it. One of the things about the JVC that I didn't like was the fact that the autofocus just was not there. It has autofocus, it works with certain lenses, but the majority of them it does not work with at all. Like, it just doesn't work. You press a button and nothing happens. There's only a very small amount of Panasonic lenses, maybe a few Olympus lenses that it works with, and that's just how it is. Now, speaking about the JVC, like I said, I still own that camera. I still love that camera. I'm pretty sure though that in using this C100, I'll probably wind up getting rid of it. So always be sure to check www.mediahammock.com/use for any of my used gear. It's gonna be on there. There's always things that I put on there and they get sold, they get taken off. So just check it out every now and then. You might get a good deal on a pretty good camera or audio equipment or anything else. The other thing that I really like about the C100 Mark II is all of the buttons. I love buttons. Not only just having buttons on your camera, but customizable buttons that you can change to be whatever you want. Also, it has ND filters. I love ND filters because when you're going from indoors to outdoors and the light gets really, really bright, all you have to do is, turn on one of your ND filters instead of adjusting your shutter speed and your aperture and just changing the look of your shot and also just being slow. The ND filters just make you faster. I love having it. It's not something that's always on every camera, but it's on this one and I really appreciate it. Also, you have this big giant adjustable grip that really feels great in your hands, and you can adjust it so it just makes hand holding the camera that much better because it just fits in your hands very, very well. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about is the low light performance of this camera. I mean, it is absolutely amazing. I mean, I got this thing up to like 10,000 ISO and the image was totally still usable. I've never owned a camera that can do that. And no, I have never owned the Sony a7S II. So I know that camera can do it, but I've never owned it. But this camera can totally go up to 10,000 ISO and still give you a usable image. Now, I guess the other thing too is that natively this uses an EF mount, which is great because then you have a ton of lens options to choose from. You can use EF lenses, you can use EFS. So there's just tons of lens options. We're talking about low light performance, but the overall image quality in general is just outstanding on the C100 Mark II. It's outstanding. I mean, it's crazy. It's an older camera now, so we all know the technology. It's 4K sensor in there. They take the 4K image, they scale it down to 1080, and that's what you get. And it really looks good. I feel shooting internally to the card, I'm definitely able to push this image way more than I can push the image on my JVC LS300, despite the fact that it's shooting at 50 megabits per second, and this one is only shooting at, I think, 24 megabits per second, but it's still, you could still push the image way more. There's just so much more depth to it. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how Canon did that with such a small bit rate, but they did. And then being that the bit rate is so small, the image size, or excuse me, the file sizes that you get from your footage are extremely small, which is great for your hard drive because you're just saving a ton of space because you just got these small files to work with. So I think that's a huge plus that I think some people overlook. Now, here's some things that I don't like about the camera. First one, not a big deal. It doesn't shoot 4K. It has a 4K sensor, but it doesn't shoot 4K. All my cameras besides this one are 4K, and I rarely ever shoot 4K. Also, one thing that bothers me about this camera, and doesn't seem to bother a lot of other people, is it doesn't have an automatic ISO setting. I wish it had an auto ISO setting so that, I could just point the camera or whatever and it would just adjust the ISO on the fly. Sometimes when you're running and gunning, it helps to not have to adjust everything manually. And that's a feature that's missing. That's kind of strange to me. I wish it was there. When you change your ISO, it doesn't do it gradually. There's no setting to make it gradually change the ISO. Instead, it does it in these steps that are very, very jarring, which that's fine when you're shooting a commercial, you're shooting a movie, music video. When you're planning and setting up your shots, that type of stuff doesn't matter. But when you're doing like run and gun stuff, the light changes a lot. So if I'm trying to get a shot and I'm moving around, I might point to something that's off in the shadows. Now I need to adjust the ISO and you're gonna see those steps. And of course, while you're seeing those steps, I can't use that part of it. I gotta edit that part of it out. And a lot of times that's not a big deal, but sometimes what you're editing out is like, damn, that was perfect. It was a perfect moment and you missed it because you were jumping up in your ISOs or stepping down in the ISO and you can't use it. And the last thing I don't like, because I mentioned this before on this channel, is the weight of this camera. I was actually trying to get away from the JVC because I felt like it was heavy. And then I wound up getting a C100 Mark II and it's heavy. I knew it was gonna be heavy. I just saw the camera for a great price and I just could not pass it up because it was something that I've always wanted to use. Not that I haven't used it in the past, but I had never used the Mark II. I had only used the Mark I. So I just wanted to try it out. It was a good price, so I bought it. And I really think it's a great camera. And I can see this being my main camera for the next couple of years. Right now, I really like it. And it's definitely because of the image quality and that low light performance. Those are the main two things that I love about this camera. Absolutely amazing. So there it is. So that's the camera I'm working with in 2020. A C100 Mark II, which is like, I don't know how many years old at this point, 5, 6, I don't even know, 7 maybe? I don't, it's old, but it's still an excellent camera. Still gonna get you great results. And if you're on eBay, if you're an eBayer and you're looking for a good camera, man, there's a lot of these out there. The C100s, Mark Is and the Mark IIs are all over eBay. People are giving them away. It's just absolutely ridiculous that you can get yourself a cinema camera, a professional camera like this for such a cheap price, man. So go ahead and check it out, man. I'm talking, you know, under $2,000. If you're lucky, you might find it under $1,500, which is insane. So go ahead and check it out if you're interested in this camera. Now is the time to buy it. Anyway, I'm Mike Turner. Thanks for watching, and I guess I'll see you soon.